Funding for Schaeferillis is provided by Surfshark VPN. Tune until the end to find out about their amazing service. A couple of weeks ago, I was approached by Nando V Movies, who asked me if I wanted to be a part of his new epic crossover project, One X-Cellent Scene, where a bunch of YouTubers come together and talk about some incredible scenes from the X-Men series of films. So I said, sure, before remembering that I've only seen about half the movies and don't remember the ones I have seen all that well. Like, from what I've heard, X-Men 3 is the Shrek the Third of the series, with the only difference being the fact that we don't have to pretend it's non-canon like we do with Shrek the Third. It was actually removed from canon by Days of Future Past, which is pretty nifty, not gonna lie. I wish Shrek Forever After found a way to do that. But anyway, despite my lack of knowledge of the earlier X-Men films, one thing I've always admired about the series is the fact that it's always been more daring than the MCU. It's more willing to experiment and try something bold or risky, whether it be a raunchy comedic middle finger to the conventions of the superhero genre, or a mature, artistic pseudo-western. I thought about doing a video on a scene from one of the Deadpool movies, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized I had to go with a scene from Logan. Because I realized that my perspective on this film, as someone who hasn't seen any X-Men movies prior to First Class, is a deceptively important one. See, Logan is the culmination of 17 years of watching both Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier. 17 years of watching that I did not do. When I saw Tony Stark's funeral, I was emotionally wrecked because 11 years prior, I was in a movie theater watching Tony build his first Iron Man suit. I saw him blast out of that cave. I saw him receive that chest thingy from Pepper. I saw him declare to the whole world that he was Iron Man. I was invested in Tony Stark's story from the beginning to the end, which is why Endgame elicited such a strong reaction out of me. Logan didn't have this luxury from my perspective, and yet it hit me way harder than Endgame, because Logan is a cinematic masterpiece. With the exception of Spider-Verse, it is easily the best superhero movie of the 2010s, by a landslide. As someone who hasn't been following these iterations of Wolverine and Professor X over the years, their story drove me to tears because of how profoundly human it is, how broken these men have become, and how much I just wanted them to finally be able to rest. I don't need to see the long cinematic history of these characters to get attached to their journey in this movie, because this movie is so well written and powerful that it manages to perfectly portray their history and relationship through subtext. This brings us to the topic of the video, Charles in the Tank. The first of many scenes in this film that rocked me to my core with its profound sadness. The years have finally caught up to our dear Professor Xavier, and his once brilliant mind has now succumbed to Alzheimer's. Yes, this exceptionally powerful and gifted brain with literal mutant powers isn't even safe from neurological disorders. The film reintroduces us to Charles by showing him wheeling around aimlessly, incoherently rambling about nonsense.
It's not about what you do. It's not about your deeds. You can't live up to God's rules.
What are you talking about?
It's a position we never imagined seeing such a capable, sharp-witted man in, but this is the unfortunate new reality for these characters. It's a notable parallel to how the movie opened. We saw Logan in an awful physical state, getting beaten up and shot, and now we see Charles in an awful mental state, secluded away in this metal death trap for his own good. Now, when I first saw the movie, I couldn't tell if Charles giving a shout out to the new quesalupa from Taco Bell was meant to be product placement or not, because it should go without saying that this is a really weird scene and weird movie to have product placement in. Turns out it wasn't, and James Mangold just plugged that dialogue in from a commercial script he had lying on his desk, which makes way more sense. Honestly, this Taco Bell line is what really sold me on the fact that Charles is entirely incoherent. It's pretty much the last thing I expected to hear out of him, and thus it completely sells the idea that he's lost his mind. Taco Bell is the key to all this, because it's a funnier character than we've ever had. But anyway, Charles resists Logan, whom he only recognizes as the man who puts him to sleep, and falls to the ground in utter agony. And this causes a mental seizure. God, what would a mental seizure even look like for someone with a literal superpowered mind? Come on. It's not pretty. Nothing about this is pretty. The piercing sounds, the subtle color effects, the misery on everyone's face. Oh man, is it uncomfortable. And by showing us Caliban being affected by the seizure, we understand that this horrific incident can't be contained within this tank. Not only does Charles have no control over his mind anymore, but also, despite their best efforts, Logan and Caliban don't have control over it. Logan finally manages to jam the needle into Charles' chest, and everything calms down as Logan finally gets a chance to catch his breath. He puts Charles back in his bed and gives him his pills to prevent the seizures. Charles, who now recognizes Logan again, gives him a bit of sass. Just a tad.
I always know who you are. It's just sometimes I don't recognize you.
Sir, reporting high levels of sass.
Take the pills.
Whenever he's in his right mind, it's clear that he hates being cooped up here, and this scene only makes that fact more apparent as it goes on. Charles then tells Logan about a new mutant that needs his help. Even in his old, dementia-riddled age, he still wants to help a mutant in need. His sole purpose in life for so many years. As long as he lives, he wants to continue fulfilling it. But Logan dismisses the idea by saying,
It's too bad you're not in that business anymore.
But Charles responds by telling Logan that he's the one who needs to help. Something Logan is clearly in absolutely no mood or position to do, given his cynical demeanor. He already rejected a plea for help from Gabriella once, and while we don't know yet that her plea and the plea Charles is hearing are the same one, this scene nonetheless makes Logan's refusal to help anyone much more explicit. Again, I don't know much about the original trilogy, duology of X movies, but the cores of these two characters are abundantly clear. I understand that Charles is kind and helpful and good, while Logan is more cynical and jaded. And even in the bleakest of scenarios, these strong personality traits persist. Charles refuses to lay down and die as long as he hears someone in need. And Logan has more or less given up on life. The X-Men gave his life meaning, turned him into a hero over the years and over the movies, and yet, now they're gone. All mutants are. Logan reminds Charles, thus organically telling the audience,
There are no new mutants, understand? Hasn't been a new one born in 25 years. Not anywhere.
The world has moved on without them. Logan, Charles, Caliban, they're all relics of the past. Logan then says,
I've always thought we were part of God's plan. Maybe we were God's mistake.
Charles doesn't respond to this well, reminding Logan of what his life was like before the X-Men took him in. He also mentions the Statue of Liberty incident, which happened in the first movie, and that totally flew over my head until now. These details are sure to evoke nostalgic memories in longtime fans of the series, and yet they still manage to grip me even though I've never seen Logan's former life unfold. It's just such a gut punch to hear Charles express his disappointment with the man Logan has become, when it's clear these two have been through so much together. But the real saddest thing in this scene is something I didn't miss out on by not watching the older movies. The death of the X-Men. The subtext here doesn't just work to portray the relationship between these two characters that occurred in previous movies, it works to explain events that no one saw. After Charles chastises Logan for not appreciating the family he had, Logan responds with,
They're gone now.
And Charles frantically asks Logan what he did, to which Logan doesn't respond. You start to put the pieces together. Charles is locked up here for his own good. All the other X-Men are gone. Logan won't tell Charles what happened to them. I can't stress enough how much Logan's silence here speaks volumes. He's protecting Charles in more ways than one, keeping Charles away from both the world his mind can harm and the truth about the X-Men that can harm him. But it's for his own good.
For your own good.
No, it's not. You're waiting for me to die.
God, what a scene. It manages to provide exposition while simultaneously serving as an emotional tour de force. It gets people like me, who aren't too familiar with the series, invested in the ongoing story and characters. It's just genius in every respect, plus it made me hungry for tacos. I'm gonna go eat some, and while I do, check out other videos in the One Excellent Scene project. Tons of other YouTubers are participating, including... Wow!
Whoa!
Plus, we're just the beginning. You guys can make your own videos about your favorite X-Men scenes, send them to Nando V Movies, and join the ongoing One Excellent Scene playlist. Hope you enjoy watching everyone else's videos and making your own. Okay, for real now, I'm gonna go order the new quesalupa from Taco Bell. Bye!
12 seconds later.
Terrible news, everyone! My Taco Bell account has been hacked and someone ordered 12,000 quesalupas in my name! I can't eat that many quesalupas! Or afford that many. If only there was a way to secure my online browsing data so this never happens again. Oh wait, there is. It's Surfshark VPN, guys. An incredible product that encrypts your data and protects you online. Surfshark VPN allows you to access geo-restricted content, meaning you can trick your browser into thinking you're in another country, thus allowing you to access content you couldn't get otherwise. That way, you don't have to physically travel to another country to watch that country's exclusive Netflix content, for example. You can also use Surfshark and its HackLock system to get alerts anytime your email address or password is compromised. HackLock scans various databases of leaked information and notifies its users if their data is found so they can take action, which is an absolutely invaluable feature. Surfshark is also totally unlimited, meaning you can use it on as many devices as you like, even all at the same time. No other VPN allows this. Go to surfshark.deals/Rillis and enter promo code Rillis to get 83% off and 1 extra month of Surfshark VPN for free. It's an amazing deal, and it's even better because it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not satisfied, you can cancel during those 30 days and get your money back. If you're looking for a great VPN, there's no reason not to give Surfshark a try. Once again, head to surfshark.deals/Rillis and enter the promo code Rillis. Have a great time with Surfshark VPN.